Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. Well, if you were on the fence on whether or not to vote Miggy for the All-Star game, maybe last weekend helped to convince you. 2 home runs of better than 450 feet over the weekend. Miggy and the Tigers playing some good baseball right now. We welcome you to Comerica. The Reds in town for Game 1 in this series. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us here for what will be 4 games against the Reds. 2 here, 2 there. Miggy, how about it? A couple of monster home runs over the weekend, Rod. Got to get him to the All-Star game.
Well, it looks like he's closing in on Eric Hosmer of the Kansas City Royals. I absolutely love Hosmer's game. He's a nice two-way player, but he's not Miguel Cabrera. It's not often that you have everybody in the game talking about he is the best hitter in the game, but yet he's not starting the All-Star game.
How about Animal Sanchez? He'll make the start tonight for the Tigers. Really, in his last start, we saw him keep the ball down a little bit more, and that seemed to be the key.
You know, he wasn't as rotational with the upper body, and because of that, he was able to get his arm in a really nice slot, which allowed him to throw straight downhill. Whether Anibal was throwing that fastball in the mid-90s, spotting it on the outside black, or whether he was throwing that butterfly changeup to the bottom of the zone, he was releasing the ball out in front. And when Anibal releases the ball out in front, you see the kind of action that he was getting down in the strike zone. He'll need to do that once again here tonight against the Cincinnati Reds. He desperately needs to put together back-to-back really impressive outings. It's been sort of a slow year for Anibal, but he can certainly turn that around.
All right, stay with us. Game 1 in this series coming up after a short break. We'll send you back to the Coliseum Studios. Check in with Matt Shepard. Coming up here tonight at the ballpark, hey, the Reds are in town for the first time since 2006. Todd Frazier leading the way. He is 3rd in the National League in homers. Tigers-Reds next. First of two here at the ballpark. Their lineup, the Reds that is, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. It'll be Phillips, Schumacher, and Votto on the top three spots. Todd Frazier having a really good season at third base. Jay Bruce in right. Eugenio Suarez, the former Tiger, at short. Got Barnhart, Bosch, and Hamilton in your bottom three. So a couple of former Tigers. Brennan Bosch also in the Reds starting lineup tonight. And we are ready for baseball. Cloudy, overcast evening here. Very humid at the ballpark, but the rain is staying away, and that's the good news. First pitch of tonight's ball game is a strike to Brandon Phillips. Phillips is batting .302, 26 driven in this year. Slick fielding, second baseman for the Reds. The 0-1 pitch is low. Did he go? He did not.
And right now, Brandon battling a little bit of a sore groin. I watched a little bit of their game last night, and he's not running 100% as we speak.
Here's the 1-1. Low and outside again. 2 balls, 1 strike on Phillips.
Phillips is a tremendous two-way player. He's won 4 Gold Gloves. He's won the last 5 Silver Slugger awards at the second base position in the National League.
And now Sanchez falls behind 3-1 on Phillips, who missed a couple of games with that groin problem, but he is in there tonight. Waiting on deck, Skip Schumacher. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Lifted back out of play. And tonight Sanchez presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Sanchez comes in 4-7 with an earned run average just a shade over 5. The strikeouts really no problem for Anibal this year. He's racked up 76 of those. 25 base on balls.
Full count on the leadoff man, Phillips. And he got him, strike 3. Brandon has come looking. He knew it. He'll simply go back to the bench.
That's what Sanchez has the ability to do. He has the ability to throw you a breaking ball and a fastball count, and also change up to finish you off. It's an outstanding breaking ball that buckles the knees momentarily of Phillips, and he couldn't pull the trigger.
He'll bring up Skip Schumacher, batting in the 2 spot for the Reds. Ball 1 missing outside to Schumacher. Reds are 28-34. They find themselves 13 games back in the National League Central Division and in 4th place. Schumacher sends a ground ball to first, right at Miguel Cabrera. That'll be out number 2.
Let's take a peek at the Tigers' starting defense presented by Beaumont Health System. Cespedes in left field, 124 putouts already this season, which leads all major league left fielders. Gosen, center, Martinez in right. Miggy, Kinsler, Iglesias, Castellanos round out the infield, and James McCann back behind the plate after the afternoon off yesterday.
Here's one of the better hitters over in the National League and in all of baseball. Joey Votto stands in at .298. And he takes ball 1. Votto has hit 14 home runs. He's been on base in 23 straight games. And in the days of advanced metrics, as Brad Ausmus said before the game today, Votto is one of those players that can be very coveted. Draws a lot of walks, hits for power. He's played in 4 All-Star games. The 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1 on Votto. Shift on against Joey. They play him to the right side of the infield. That is the third baseman Castellanos in short right. Little chopper back to the mound. Sanchez will handle this one. Votto is out. And an easy 1-2-3 inning. Here come the Tigers in the bottom of the first.
presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Anthony Gose will lead it off in center field. Kinsler and Cabrera will follow. Cespedes is cleaning up again tonight. JD is in right. McCann back behind the dish. You've got Castellanos, Iglesias, and Rajai Davis rounding out the starting lineup for the Tigers. And MGM Grand Detroit brings you the scouting report on John Moscott.
And Moscott has a fastball that will get up to about 94, average heater at 91. Lots of sliders to the right-handed hitters, also a lot of curveballs to the right-handers. He does have a changeup. He will not throw that to the righties, but a heavy dose of those to the lefties.
A solid single to right field off the bat of Anthony Gose. A line drive puts the leadoff man on.
Anthony Gose not wasting any time. First pitch fastball, belt buckle high at 90 miles an hour, whistled to the pull field by Gose.
9 steals this year for Anthony. He's been caught 5 times.
Anthony usually one of those guys that's on the move first or second pitch. Ian Kinsler knows that. More than likely he'll take a pitch or two.
Ian Kinsler batting .276. He has knocked in 26 this year. And Moscott quickly throws back to the bag. Moscott is 23 years old. He hails from Santa Monica, California. And I'm trying to remember who else is from Santa Monica.
Myself and Brennan Bosch.
That's right.
3 of us in the ballpark tonight.
I was thinking of you and then Bosch.
Well, I'm the most important
of course.
person from Santa Monica.
It goes without saying.
Right.
You guys must have hung out together now. There's a big difference in age.
Yeah, a little difference in age.
There are the particulars on Moscott. 6'4", 210. Only 23 years old. Kinsler looks at a ball outside, 1-0.
I guess I'll just have to start rooting for Moscott after tonight.
After tonight, no doubt. I mentioned Brennan Bosch. He has resurfaced with the Reds, and he's in their lineup again tonight.
Bosch had a nice spring training for the Reds.
Kinsler waits on the 1-0. Snap throw back out of the bag, and Gose gets back in there. Two 2-0 the count on Kinsler.
If you're Kinsler, no need to take this fastball. If you get it from Moscott, it's going to be firm. It's going to be about 90 miles an hour. Even if Gose is running, go ahead and get yourself a good swing at this next fastball.
Strike called. Gose delayed steal. Goes to second. Is in there safely. A stolen base for Anthony is 10th.
When the pitcher is somewhat quick to the plate and Gose feels like he might not be able to get a good jump off him, he simply goes to the delayed steal, where you crow hop 2 or 3 times and then you take off and you try to catch the defense sleeping, and you get yourself an easy stolen base. See, high strength steal.
The 2-1 is in there as strike 2-2 on Kinsler. Well, teams have run on the Reds a lot this year. Here 33 of 42 in stolen base attempts. As Gose gets his 10th of the season. Now Moscott with the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and down goes Kinsler. 1 gone. That'll bring up Cabrera.
It's a good 2-seam fastball thrown by Moscott at 93 miles an hour. Some late life on that pitch. Ian swung right over the top of it.
Miggy Ted for 17 on the homestand. His average now at 341.
And Miguel does a lot of damage on first pitches. If you decide to try to sneak that fastball by him, he very seldom allows you to do so.
They're playing him to pull on the infield, shifting to the left side. And a bouncer right back to the mound. Now they got Gose hung up. Moscott will run at him. You got to put the tag on him. And he just got it on him. Wow, Anthony almost outran him. And he's still down on the ground. Well, this could turn out to be very bad here for the Reds.
And he looks like he's in a considerable amount of pain. Paul Lassard, their athletic trainer, out to take a look at John Moscott.
Moscott, involved in the rundown, decided not to give up the baseball, instead running back, and now he's hanging up on the ground and in pain. It looked like Ghost actually was over the bag when he was tagged.
Looked like he hyperextended that left arm. And that's exactly what Paul Lassard is looking at. He's looking at the left shoulder, apparently, of Moscott.
So the Red starter is still on the ground. It looked like he really didn't feel the pain initially until he kind of got up to his knees, and then it kind of set in. It looks really rough right now for Moscott.
Well, it looks like he's not going to continue, but Brian Price, their manager, has not signaled to the bullpen to see who would come in relief of Moscott if he's not able to go.
You have to help him to his feet. Tigers will have a runner at first with 2 outs here in the first inning as Cabrera is safe on the fielder's choice and Moscott's done for the night. Boy, gingerly walking off, and that left shoulder is not in good shape right now.
It's the last thing that the Cincinnati Reds needed with all the injuries that they've already had this year. They've already used 26 different rookies. 26 rookies starts have made for Cincinnati this year, not 26 different rookies.
Well, Moscott slowly walking off the field, and the Reds now will have to go to their bullpen and get somebody to come in and take over. So we'll step aside here at Comerica Park. Hardware in the Scotts Company, 75 at game time. It's very humid at the ballpark tonight, 73%, very cloudy. There's been a lot of rain in the area, and hopefully it'll stay away from the ballpark this evening. But in the meantime, in a Wallside Windows pitching change, Pedro Villarreal will take over.
Well, Brian Price, their manager, was not expecting this to turn into a bullpen day here tonight against the Tigers. Villarreal has only been in 3 games. He's pitched 4 2/3 innings. The earned run average is over 7.5.
Villarreal was promoted from Louisville earlier today, and this is his 5th stint already with the Reds this season. A 3.81 ERA overall at Louisville. And he is in hurry-up mode now to try and get ready, as I'm sure he was not thinking that a first inning appearance would be on the docket tonight. Well, over the weekend, of course, Miguel Cabrera had a big series against the Indians. And now as we look at the All-Star race, Eric Hosmer is still leading American League first baseman. Cabrera is right there, right behind him, but he certainly needs some help. Keep in mind that voting ends on July the 2nd.
If you look at the numbers, there's really no comparison between Hosmer and Miguel Cabrera, but give the Kansas City Royals fans a lot of credit. They have gotten behind their team, which went to the World Series last year, and they have basically voted every single one of their players into a starting position, literally every single one. This was Miguel on Friday. He had a home run that traveled 452 feet, and then he did it again on Sunday, straightaway center field. This one traveled 450, so Miguel Cabrera just had an awesome weekend against the Cleveland Indians, a team that he absolutely owns.
And Cabrera will be at first base with 2 outs here in the first inning in a scoreless game. This is game 1 in this series between the Reds and the Tigers. And we're talking about the Cincinnati Reds in the National League Central Division. This has been a season in which, well, they've played better baseball, to be sure, as we look at where they stand in the Central.
They've had a couple of difficult seasons. They had Dusty Baker as their manager a few years ago, and Dusty took them to the playoffs 3 consecutive years. They replaced him, and they've had a rough go of it lately. They sit 13 games back, and the way that St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and Chicago are playing, I don't think they're coming back to the pack.
Cardinals a 6-game lead over the Pirates. There's Brian Price, who took over a couple of years ago, or last season, I should say, for Dusty Baker.
When the Cincinnati Reds were going to the postseason, when Dusty was the manager, Brian Price, he was a pitching coach for 4 years. He spent 10 years also as a pitching coach in Seattle, also Arizona, where Bob Melvin was the manager of that team.
Another former pitching coach that was managing recently, Bud Black, was let go today by the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, there aren't many former pitchers that have pitched in professional baseball that are managers in the big leagues. John Farrell comes to mind, and of course, Brian Price comes to mind. There was Bud Black, but beyond those 3, without thinking, I can't think of anybody else.
Well, Villarreal continues to heat up as he tries to get ready for his appearance here.
Let's take a look at the Cincinnati Reds starting defense. It is brought to you by Tim Hortons. They check in with a 9.88 fielding percentage, which is 3rd in Major League Baseball. Of course, they're led by their second baseman, Brandon Phillips. He's won 4 Gold Gloves, and every single year, the other managers in the National League, they simply say that Brandon is the best second baseman in the National League.
So Villarreal, I think, is getting close here to winding up his warm-up pitches. He's got one more coming, says home plate umpire Tim Welke. And Villarreal will take over with 2 outs and a runner at first base. And Yoenis Cespedes will be the first man that he will face. Which brings us to our Bernstein advantage. We're talking about Cespedes and how hot he's been, and he's had the Bernstein advantage here in the month of June. How about these numbers for Cespedes?
425 batting average. He's hit 2 out of the ballpark. He's driven in 5, and he's scored 9 runs. He'd have a whole lot more RBIs, but every time there's somebody out there, Miguel Cabrera picks them up.
At 425 in June, the best in Major League Baseball. Yoenis right now enjoying an 8-game hitting streak. He'll bat with 2 outs and a runner at first.
Yoenis is a dead pull hitter. And most of his damage is done to the pull field.
And he'll take a strike 0-1. Certainly not optimal conditions for Pedro Villarreal. Rushed into duty here with 2 outs in the first inning after being called up today from AAA. Is a native of Edinburgh, Texas. Here's the 0-1. Make it 0-2 now on Cespedes.
Don't necessarily know how this is going to play out for Villarreal, but a lot of times when you don't know that you're going to pitch or you get pressed into duty in a hurry, a lot of times you go out there and have your best days. It's just like a hitter that comes to the ballpark that's sick and you decide to play. For whatever reason, guys, just kind of step up.
Well, you wonder what kind of an effect this will have on the Reds going forward here the rest of this series, having to really dip into the bullpen in game 1. There's a ball high, 1-2 on Yoenis.
That's a great point. A lot of that will depend on whether the Tigers are able to put some crooked numbers on the board here today.
The Reds bullpen came in ranked 13th in the National League in ERA over 4. Cespedes backs out of there in a ball that almost hit him. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's not a bad pitch by Villarreal. As hot as Cespedes has been lately, why not make it move his feet with a 94 mile per hour 2-seam fastball that had a lot of movement on it.
They are daring Cespedes to hit the ball to the right side on the ground. There is nobody on the right side of the infield. Bouncing ball third base side on the back end there. Frazier. He's heaved to first base is in time, and that's all for the Tigers. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. We go to the second here at Comerica Park. Scoreless game. Of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Chrysler, come discover great deals during Chrysler Drive and Discover events. And by Dean's Country Fresh Ice Cream Squares and Milk. Get real. Anibal Sanchez back to work as we go to the top of the second here at the ballpark. Tigers Reds game 1, no score. Sanchez an easy and a snappy 1-2-3 first inning. Frazier has been a really good hitter this year in the National League. He drives one on a line to left field over the head of Cespedes up against the wall. Frazier knows better. He's going to head back to first base. That thing came right back at Yoenis, who fired in a rocket to second.
Frazier making a bid for his 19th double of the season, but he couldn't get it because the ball was played perfectly off the wall in the outfield by Yoenis Cespedes. He comes up, and you better not run on him. There's not an outfielder for me that has a better throwing arm than Yoenis Cespedes.
Wet Evans is no longer playing, is he?
Nope, he's done.
Here's Jay Bruce.
Dewey did have a very strong arm, though. He used to love to show it off, too.
Well, it's back in the days when they took infield, right?
Right.
The outfielders would show off those throwing arms.
Yeah, a lot of guys back in the day that had some great arms. Jesse Barfield, Dave Parker.
Ooh, Parker's was outstanding.
It's kind of a lost art these days, but not for Yones.
Jay Bruce, the batter. Bruce, left-handed stick, batting only .212. He has power, 9 homers this year. Runner wasn't even off the bag. Frazier was standing on the bag.
If Frazier is going to steal a bag, he needs, well, I take that back. Frazier's got 7 steals. He doesn't look like he can run, but he's got 7 stolen bases, and they lead the majors in steals. The Cincinnati Reds, they have a team high 65.
Here's the 0-1. Runner bluffs, and it's outside. Of course, Billy Hamilton has a good portion of those with 31.
Yeah, nearly half of those.
Jay Bruce, 29 RBIs. There was a time a few years back where he went 3 consecutive seasons of 30-plus homers.
He's been swinging the bat well lately, but his batting average is only .212, so he must have started at about a buck and some change, 150.
Yeah, he must have. And really, when you get from Bruce in the 5 spot down to number 9, most of the averages are in the low 200s. Sanchez ready with the 2-1. Soft line drive caught by the shortstop Iglesias. Sounded like he broke his bat as well. 1 gone. Here is Eugenio Suarez, former Tiger who was traded in the offseason in the Alfredo Simon deal along with Jonathan Crawford, a pitching prospect in the Tiger system.
He did well for Detroit last year. Hit for some power. Most of that power was early when he came up from the minors. As a matter of fact, he homered in his very first game in the big leagues.
Runner goes. Here comes McCann's throw. It is not in time.
Giving the catcher an opportunity to throw out to would-be base stealers is not necessarily one of Anabal's strengths. McCann really had no chance at throwing out Frazier, who had a walking lead.
That'll be Frazier's 8th of the year in 10 tries.
He banged his head on the right knee of Ian Kinsler, and he was shook up momentarily.
Suarez waiting on the 0-1. Little chopper left side of the infield. Iglesias checks the runner. Suarez is out. 2 away. Now Tucker Barnhart. Kinsler checking in on Frazier down there at second. .218 batting average for Barnhart. He's hit 3 home runs this year. And Sanchez starts him off with a strike. In his last start, Sanchez picked up his first win since May 14th. 7 2/3 really good innings against the Cubs. He struck out 7 in that game. Barnhart spoils that one back in the seats, and the count goes 0-2. Anibal has only 1 win in his last 3 starts, but in that span his ERA is about 2.5, so he has been pitching much better baseball. It was that little rocky stretch that he had when he gave up 7 runs in back-to-back starts. Here's the 0-2. Pull to the right side. Leaping play by Miguel. Probably scores a run, but Miggy with a nice little mini leap to haul it in. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Go to the bottom of the second. $1,000 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. Back here at the ballpark as we go to the bottom of the second, and it'll be J.D. Martinez, James McCann, Nick Castellanos. Facing the right-hander, Pedro Villarreal, who had to come on in the first inning when the starter John Moscott was injured at second base on a diving play trying to tag out Anthony Gose. First pitch hammered back out of play, 0-1. Well, JD is on an upswing again. He's hit safely in his last 8 consecutive games.
Big home run yesterday. 3-run home run the opposite way in right center field.
12 home runs for the year now for Martinez. That one sails high, 1-1.
It's tough enough for left-handed batters to hit the ball out of the ballpark, over the out-of-town scoreboard in right center field, and when you get right-handers doing it, it's a whole nother animal.
Villarreal ready with the 1-1. Out in front, 1-2.
A nice slow bender thrown by Villarreal at 82 miles an hour. Fastball has some arm side run to it at about 92 to 94. That slider just had J.D. Martinez out in front just a hair.
Inside, 2-2. Villarreal played his college ball at Howard College in Big Spring, Texas. Been up and down with the Reds each of the last 4 years. I mentioned this is his 5th stint already this season, up and down. Foul back.
Kind of tough to get an apartment, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, it seems like every team has one of those guys where they just have to maintain a place to live in both cities.
Right.
Fortunately for those that play for the Tigers, the AAA team is located a car ride away.
Yeah, not too far. No, Danny Worth used to drive back and forth.
Right. 2-2 on JD. Chopper toward third. Frazier will charge. Martinez out by a step. One gone in the second. Well, stay tuned for Tigers Live following the game. We'll select our Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's Big Mac and 10-piece McNuggets. Here's James McCann. .264 average for McCann. He's hit a couple of home runs this year, and of course you'll remember his first one was hit at Target Field in Minneapolis and inside the Parker. There's a strike called, 0-1.
And James had the afternoon off yesterday. Chance to freshen up the legs.
McCann looks at a strike quickly. 0-2 now on the Tigers catcher. Reds and Tigers have met a total of 18 times. The Tigers winning 10 and the Reds 8 in the overall series between these two squads. High and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Of course, the Reds back in the 70s, a much celebrated organization with a big red machine. Boy, do they have some great players.
Ooh, great players.
Hall of Fame players. Rose, Bench, Morgan, Concepcion.
Sparky Anderson was their manager.
Now the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Villarreal has retired all 3 of he's faced. In the driver's seat is brought to you by Kia. Most wins in interleague play since 2011. Well, got the Tigers at 48. Only the Yankees and Angels in that span have won more than Detroit.
All of those teams in the American League dominating the senior circuit.
With 2 outs, here's Castellanos. Ball 1. Nick at 223 with 4 home runs. He's knocked in 26. Just a couple of hits on this homestand. 2 for 15 for Castellanos. Romine got the start at third base the other day for him. Now the 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes on Nick. Last time the Tigers faced the Reds, it was 2012. That was in Cincinnati, and the Tigers won 2 out of 3 from the Reds. But they have not been in this ballpark since 06. A little bit outside. The count goes 3-0.
I would imagine that there will be a lot of Tiger fans in Cincinnati when the Tigers head there on Wednesday. When we did play there the last time, there was a ton of Tigers fans all over the place.
Yeah, they showed out in force in Cincy. 3-0 is in there, 3-1. It's always fun to travel around really just about anywhere in Major League Baseball. Tigers fans will travel extremely well. A lot of them go to Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, of course, Toronto. Got a lot of Reds fans here in the ballpark tonight. Pulled to third, caught on a line by Frazier. And Villarreal has a 1-2-3 second. No runs, no hits, nobody left. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. The third, Tigers and Reds hooked up here tonight. No score. Sanchez goes back to the hill facing Bosch, Hamilton, and then Phillips. A little bit of a delay here at the start.
Cespedes is not on the field.
We are waiting for Yoenis. There is no left fielder right now.
And while we have a moment, let's flash back to 2006. Menards is going to bring you the big money encounter. One of the best outfielders to ever play the game, Ken Griffey Jr. in May of 2006 against Joe Zamaya. And Zamaya was throwing 103 miles an hour, and Ken Griffey Jr. turned it around for a grand slam. Boy, did he have a quick bat.
Ken Griffey, what was he at that time? He was like 39 or 40?
He was getting up there.
And to see him do what he did against a 103-mile-an-hour fastball was astounding.
Talk about being a natural. The kid was a natural. Everybody wanted to wear their hats backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. wore his hat backwards. And how about the career that he had?
Well, 630 home runs. He easily would have had a lot more had he been a little bit more healthy in his career. In the meantime, Cespedes has made it back out to left field.
Of course, he grew up in the Seattle Mariners organization, and by the time the Cincinnati Reds got Ken Griffey Jr., he was on the declining end, but he grew up in Cincinnati.
Well, here's Brendan Bosch now to get things started. Bosch, Hamilton, Phillips. 132 so far for Bosch in the big leagues. And he looks at a strike called 0-1.
Anibal has been able to throw that bender over the plate whenever he wants to at about 77 miles an hour.
Bosch sends a ground ball to first. It's foul just outside of the bag. 0-2 on Brennan. You may recall when he broke in with the Tigers, the first 2 months he played in the big leagues, he won the Rookie of the Month each of the first two.
Nearly made an all-star team.
2010, 11, and 12 with the Tigers. Hit 42 home runs in a Tigers uni. Here's the 0-2. Bosch has hit 1 home run this year in the big leagues. He'll slice that one back out of play. Waiting on deck, the speedy Billy Hamilton. You want to keep him off the bases. Bosch last year had a great year at AAA, won a batting title in the Pacific Coast League. Fouls another one back out of play. When Brennan first came up with the Tigers, Rod, I think you and I were both convinced that this guy was really on his way to, well, an all-star type career with Detroit.
He performed that way. He brought a lot of excitement to Tigers fans in the first couple of months that he was here.
Again, the 1-2. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
As most guys will tell you, it's a little easier to get to the big leagues if you have a tremendous amount of talent and you were drafted very high. But once you get to the big leagues, it's very hard to stay for an extended period of time.
Another foul. Anibal now has reached the 30 plateau. Bosch signing a minor league contract in the offseason with an invitation to spring training. Originally a 3rd-round pick of the Tigers. And he pulls that one right to Miggy, who plays it off to his left. 1 away.
Miggy playing Bosch to pull, and Bosch hits one right down the first baseline. Miggy picks it on 1 hop and able to trot to the bag and beat Brennan. Nice concentration by Miggy, watching that ball all the way into the glove.
Hard hit ball, but Cabrera was there, and Hamilton stands in. Billy batting just .224 with 3 home runs, but he's got himself 31 steals already this season. Last year he stole 56 bases. Castellanos on the grass. 2-0.
And the only reason why Hamilton not leading off is the on base percentage is so low at .267.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. Hamilton showing bunt. 2-1.
If they could get him to improve the on base percentage, utilize the speed a little bit more frequently by hitting balls on the ground, hitting balls on the line, less fly balls, he would be a tremendous asset to the top of their order.
Chopper to first. Right there is Cabrera again. 2 gone. Time for a game breakdown. We check in with Johnny Kane.
The Pirates are rolling right now.
That they are. White Sox, meanwhile, 7 back in the American League Central. Rodon, one of their better prospects. So with 2 outs, here is Brandon Phillips. That's in there, a strike, 0-1 on Phillips.
That's the same exact pitch that he finished Brandon off with last time. That slow breaking ball that Brandon took for strike 3.
Here's the 0-1. Right back up the middle. Kinsler is there. Phillips is out. 3 ground ball outs for Sanchez here in the 3rd.
Here in right field with some very important people. The military veterans program. These guys have all served our country at one point in time. And thanks to the Tigers Foundation, Fox Sports Supports, and our play-by-play man, Mario Mpemba, these guys are here today enjoying the ball game. It's a way for Mario and those charities to give back to these guys who have served our country and done so much for us. Mario, Tigers Charities, thank you very much for having these guys here. I know it's very near and dear to your heart, Mario.
All right, Trev, thanks very much. That's a good-looking group.
They got some great seats, too.
Yeah. We were glad to have them. Had a chance to meet with some of our veterans before the game. Thanks, Trev, for doing that. I know that they're excited to be here tonight. We're glad the rain held off for them. And as we go to the bottom of the 3rd, it is Jose Iglesias leading it off. In a scoreless ball game tonight, Iglesias rolls one foul down the 3rd baseline. Jose to be followed by Rajay Davis and then Anthony Gose. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors for both teams in this one. Really, the only difference is John Moscott, the starter for the Reds, left in the first when he was injured, diving to make a tag at second base.
No word yet out of the Cincinnati Reds clubhouse on John Moscott.
Iglesias at .335 this year. Slices one to right. How many times has he done that? Leadoff single of the Tigers' third.
And one of the reasons why Iglesias hitting .335 coming into that particular at bat, he has sprayed the baseball all around the diamond. A lot of hits to right field, a lot of hits right back up the middle, and if you hang him a breaking ball, he'll turn on that too. How about him climbing the ladder and getting that 92-mile-per-hour fastball and somehow getting on top of it and hitting it on the line? There's proof of all the hits Iglesias has had this year.
So when an opponent is looking at this spray chart here, there's no reason to do anything but play him straight up.
Absolutely.
I mean, just as many to right as there is to left.
And you can play him shallow in the outfield. Power not a part of Iglesias' game.
Davis, meanwhile, with a 4-game hitting streak, batting .281.
I love when Rajai is in the lineup. He just energizes the squad. And when he gets on base, his flair for the dramatic. One of the best base stealers in our game.
He's got personality. He also has 6 triples to lead the American League.
Young boys call that swagger these days.
Swagger, all right. Davis has not been in the lineup consistently every day for the Tigers, mainly because Ghost, I think, kind of took that center field position by the horns early on. Rajai has seen more time lately, but when he is in there, he does produce.
Rajai, second year of a 2-year deal that he signed last offseason. So he'll be a free agent after this year is over.
And tonight's a bit of a milestone for Davis, his 1,000th career major league game. He's been around a while with different organizations, has stolen a ton of bases,
and really has only been an everyday player 1 year when he was in Oakland.
Right. Villarreal with the 1-1. Runner goes, pitch out. Throw down to second on target. They'll tag him out standing up.
And the Cincinnati Reds, they sniffed that out. And predictable hit and run count. 2 balls, 1 strike. Iglesias on the move. Nice pitch out. Nice feed by Villarreal to the catcher, Barnhart. And Iglesias the dead duck.
Easy throw there from the catcher, Barnhart. Right now, that's Tim Welke talking with Brad Ausmus. Are they talking about the count? I think Tim said I appealed on that play. One ball, 2 strikes should be the count, not 2-1. Villarreal with the 1-2. Bouncing ball right side. Phillips scoops it up. Rajai running hard is still up. Step 2 gone. They'll see the Tigers play the Reds tomorrow at 7:08. Get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 bags of chips, and 4 drinks for only $19 per person. It's the weekday value pack. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Sanchez looked good tonight. Anibal so far has given up just 1 hit. Meanwhile, Pedro Villarreal's done a nice job coming on in an emergency situation. He's given up just 1 hit since coming on in the first. Ghost looks at a ball high.
One of the few changeups that Villarreal has thrown since coming into the game. We've seen the fastball get up to 94 with movement. We've seen the slow breaking ball, but that was the first changeup that we've seen him throw.
Slice to left field. Right there is Bosch. Inning over, no runs, 1 hit, nobody left. 3 in the books in Comerica, no score. Comerica Park. Lots of good food, great view of the ball game.
They all got their Tigers gear on too, representing.
Here come the Reds now as we go to the fourth. It'll be Skip Schumacher leading off, and Joey Votto and Todd Frazier. Sanchez back to work. He has given up just one hit in this game. Schumacher 0 for 1, bounced out to Cabrera in the first inning. And he shoots that one down the line, but foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Schumacher, former Cardinal, in fact, at one time was an everyday player for the Cardinals. Played on their World Championship team in 2011. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Joey Votto waiting on deck. Way high, and Schumacher would not chase that one. Little chopper right back to the mound. Leaping play by Sanchez. Here is our T-Mobile game changer as Joey Votto stands in. We talked about this is a guy that has a very high on-base percentage, and here's one of the reasons why. When you go back to 2010, nobody has walked more than Joey Votto.
He took a lot of criticism early in his career because he walked so much and he took so many first pitch fastballs, and he walked a lot with runners in the scoring position. It's a beautiful thing to have a great eye, but I think the Cincinnati Reds, they wanted him to be a little bit more aggressive when there were runners on base, and he just wasn't part of his game.
They play Votto to pull. Grounded back to the mound his first time up. Sanchez gotten a lot of ground balls. Here's how they play him defensively. Here's the 0-1. Showing bunt, and he lays it to third. That's going to be a base hit. They gave it to him, and he took it.
Where Iglesias was playing Joey Votto, he didn't even have to lay down a perfect bunt. It's a hard bunt, but there's nobody there, and he gets himself an infield single. There's been a few left-handed batters the Tigers have overshifted on this year that have bunted for base hits down the third base line. Eric Hosmer comes to mind. Mike Moustakas also comes to mind. A couple of left-handers the Tigers overshift on in the infield.
Todd Frazier will stand in. You know, when they first started these shifts, especially against left-handed batters, I thought this would correct itself because a lot more hitters would start bunting toward third base, but I really don't think we've seen a whole lot of it.
Not as much as you would think.
You know, the two instances you talk about against the Royals, Hosmer and Moustakas, but not too many others really that we've seen bunts against a Tiger shift. 2-0 meanwhile on Todd Frazier.
Frazier, fly ball hitter. He's had a lot of extra base hits already this year. He's only grounded into 6 double plays. And the Tigers have been an exceptional team this year at turning double plays. He doesn't get cheated, does he?
Goes up there a hacking.
18 home runs already, 19 doubles. And for Frazier, the All-Star game is in Cincinnati. And no doubt he has a really good shot at making the team.
Yeah, I would think he'll make it one way or another. He is third right now in the National League vote at third base.
They call him the Todd Father.
That's pretty good.
Right.
Well, Frazier has hit safely in 8 of his last 9, and in that stretch, 410. Singled, stole a base, but did not score back in the second. Here's the 2-1. 2-2, Todd Frazier. Frazier last year led all National League third basemen in homers, but stolen bases as well. He swiped 20 last year.
Really?
Which is I mean, for someone that doesn't follow the Reds all that much, that's kind of surprising.
And he doesn't have the look of a guy that would steal 20 bags. No disrespect to Todd, but most of his game is power driven.
Full count, 3-2. We'll see if there's anything going on with Votto here. Being held at first by Cabrera. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Throw down to second, and that's going to end the inning. Frazier strikes out. Votto is thrown out. And that's all for the Reds.
Starting to look like you're better off not trying to challenge the very strong throwing arm of James McCann. That throw right on the bag. Big leagues at the end of the year last year, and they talked about his catch and throw ability. And man, has he made just about every throw right on the bag. And when base runners have tried to steal second, outstanding release, very accurate, strong throwing arm.
So because of that, we are still scoreless as we go to the bottom of the fourth, and back to the hill is Pedro Villarreal. He will face Ian Kinsler. He's got some tough hitters coming up here in the fourth.
We touched on Villarreal when he first entered the game after John Moscott left. A lot of times at this level, when you get pressed into duty, you're not necessarily expected to pitch two batters into the game. For whatever reason, a lot of pressure is taken off of you, and you go out there and you just allow your catcher to call the game that they prepared for with John Moscott.
Two balls, one strike on Kinsler. Ian struck out in the first inning. 6 hits on the homestand for the Tigers' second baseman.
Last 7 games for Kinsler, batting .357, and he scored 6 runs. So he's perked up lately. It's amazing how at one point in time the entire team was struggling. Now there's several guys that are doing pretty well from an offensive standpoint.
That looked like a little bit low. Kinsler thought it was. Well, when they lost 8 straight, I mean, we knew they couldn't be that bad.
Oh, they couldn't hit their way out of a wet paper sack.
But it was stunning how guys like Cabrera and Cespedes and Martinez, they all struggled at the same time. Kinsler's out of there, 1 gone.
Not only were they struggling, but the starting pitching was struggling. The bullpen was getting it done, but the bullpen started to pitch a little bit too much. They've seemed to right the ship.
Third strikeout of the ball game for Cincinnati pitching, second for Villarreal. Here is Miguel Cabrera. It was Miggy reaching on that fielder's choice back in the first that resulted in the injury to John Moscott, the starter for the Reds, who departed.
Something else you have going on here with Villarreal. is very few of these Tigers have ever seen him before.
True.
They did not plan for him. They were watching video on John Moscott in the clubhouse before the game. And then all of a sudden, you're relying on Wally Joyner to give you the scouting report on Villarreal, but it's not the same until you step into that batter's box.
Pulled on the ground to third on the backhand there, Frazier. Miggy is out.
This much we do know about Villarreal. He's not afraid to sink that two-seamer inside to the right-handed batters. He's done it several times here already today.
Not one Tiger on this roster has seen Villarreal in the batter's box until tonight.
Right.
So that in itself is a bit of an advantage. But tip your cap anyway to Villarreal. He's done a nice work here. Here is Cespedes.
He's thrown a total of 36 pitches, and 79% of them have been that two-seam fastball at about 92 to 94.
Yoenis looks at a strike. Eight-game hitting streak for Cespedes. He's got an 8-gamer. So does Martinez. 6-gamer now for Iglesias. Here's the 0-1. A little bit off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yoenis cuts and misses. 1-2. Seven hits on the homestand. The month of June is the only month in the career of Cespedes that he has hit 300 or better. And so it's, I guess, no surprise that this has been his best month this year. Right now, over 400. Here's the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the Tigers left fielder. Drilled to left field. Bosch got twisted around. It's over his head. Up against the wall, and Cespedes has yet another double. Yoenis hit a rocket out there, which got Bosch all turned around.
It's the 19th double of the season for Yoenis Cespedes. One of those two-seam fastballs that Villarreal didn't quite get to the area that he wanted to. When Yoenis went down to get it, pulled the hands in nicely, and hit an absolute missile over the head of Brennan Bosch, who misplayed it into a double. That ball hit right on the screws. That is one of your tougher balls for outfielders to pick up, those balls that have backspin on them that are hit directly at you.
Brian Dozier leads the American League with 20 doubles. And now Cespedes is tied up with Brantley and Kipnis with 19.
Dozier having a nice year once again for the Minnesota Twins. He's got quite a few homers too.
JD Martinez bounced out his first time up. Here are the doubles leaders. Kendrys Morales on that list as well. Here's the 0-1. Now he's dug an 0-2 hole here. Martinez has a 13-game hitting streak in interleague play. 8 games overall. And Villarreal set with the 0-2. That is a fair ball behind the back. Frazier, long throw, gets by the first baseman Votto. That'll score a run. Throw down to second is not in time. Cespedes comes around to score with the game's first run.
Ball had some topspin on it. Once Frazier got there, he threw flat-footed. He bounced it across the diamond, but he couldn't get any help from Joey Votto, and that could possibly be the 8th error of the year for their third baseman, Frazier.
Tigers score first. And they have a man at second now with 2 outs. And as McCann strolls in. And he looks at ball 1. Hit and an error is what they're calling that. Single E5. Well, JD gets his hitting streak advanced by 1. Getting word on Moscot now. He left the game with a dislocated left shoulder.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like to me, but we've been told not to speculate up here. So I was on my best behavior.
I noticed that. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rolled foul, 1-2. I could tell you wanted to say, though, looks like a dislocation to me.
Yeah, I didn't say it, though. Didn't get it out.
Action now in the Cincinnati bullpen. Adcock beginning to warm up. Villarreal has been on since the first inning. And now Nate Adcock tuning up in their bullpen.
He's closing in on 50 pitches, Villarreal. And most of his action in AAA was out of the bullpen, so you know he hasn't been stretched out very far.
Here's the 1-2. 2-2 on McCann. So Villarreal probably going to be spent for the next 2 days.
He might have to go back down to AAA, and they might have to get themselves a fresh arm because he might not be any good for them for the next 3 or 4 days. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
Here's the 2-2. Lifted back to the screen. 1 run, 4 hits for the Tigers. No runs, 2 hits, and now 1 error for the Reds.
Official scorekeeper in a very generous mood today, giving J.D. Martinez a base hit on that ball.
And I'm with you there. I think that's a play a big league third baseman makes.
All day, every day.
But they get a hit and an error. McCann waiting on a 2-2. Back up the middle. Suarez throws him out. Tigers get a run. They'll leave a man. And we go to the 5th. Fox Sports Detroit.
Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Meyer. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Nighttime settling in here at the ballpark. Tigers have a 1-0 lead on the Reds as we go to the top of inning number 5. Tigers getting a run and a double by Cespedes. Hit and an error off the bat of J.D. Martinez. Jay Bruce leads it off for the Reds. They've got him played to pull. Bruce, Suarez, Barnhart facing Sanchez. That's in for a strike, 1-1.
Bruce does have a tremendous amount of power. He's homered 9 times this year. And the batting average is very low, so he's had an off season. But when he does get a hold of it, he can hit him as far as any left-hander in the National League.
1-2 on Bruce. Lined out his first time up. Bruce, a couple of All-Star games, a couple of Silver Slugger awards. Two and two. Suarez waiting on deck. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Something is skied in the air to shallow center field. Iglesias going back. Ghost is going to call him off. Get out of my way, Iggy.
Here is our high-speed pitch, and it is brought to you by Xfinity. Anibal Sanchez, top fastball so far here tonight, 93 miles an hour. 74, that would be one of the breaking balls he's thrown so far tonight.
Eugenio Suarez in for a strike right at the knees, 0-1.
Wow, that got him.
Man,
got to be careful in on deck circle.
well, you don't see it happen often, but sometimes it does.
Barnhart telling him to hit the ball fair.
Trainer coming out to look at the guy on the on-deck circle.
It's been one of those kind of nights for the Cincinnati Reds so far. The starting pitcher had to leave with a separated shoulder, and now they're trying to knock out the catcher.
Ball high, 1-2. Down he went. One and two on Suarez. Swing and a miss. Eugenio goes down. 2 outs here in the 5th. Hey, don't miss out on the July Party Suite special available for games July 1 through 4. Packages include 15 suite tickets plus a voucher for an overnight stay at Motor City Casino Hotel. For more information, call 313-471-BALL. Check out the July Party Suites. Barnhart lifts one in the air to shallow center field, and Sanchez going to have himself an easy 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. Cincinnati on July 14th on Fox.
It looks like the state of Missouri is going to have quite a few players in Cincinnati.
Yeah, you got Carpenter, you got Peralta, you got, of course, the entire Royals team. Molina, Holiday, they're going to be well represented. Got a new pitcher now for the Reds, and taking over now in the Wallside Windows pitching changes, Nate Adcock.
Adcock was just promoted a few days ago, June 7th to be exact. He was pitching in AAA. He had a team-high 11 saves in 16 chances in Louisville.
Did you see who he replaced on the roster with the big club?
I did see that, but
Jumbo Diaz.
Is that Jumbo's real name, though?
Probably not. Here's Castellanos. Adcock works home a breaking ball strike, 0-1. Nick in the ball game 0 for 1, lined out sharply to the third baseman his first time up. The bottom three facing Nate Adcock. A little bit low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Castellanos has been struggling. In his last 5 games, a batting average at 105. And Brad gave him the afternoon off on Sunday, and Brad has given Nick several days off this year, trying to jumpstart him, give him a middle day off, but it really hasn't worked up until this point.
Rolled toward third, scooped up there by Frazier.
And I think coming into this year, and I'm not saying that Nick's not going to turn it around. I think he's going to be a fine major league hitter for a long, long time. He's just gotten off to a very slow start here in 2015, but I think most people believe that he will hit 270, 280 throughout his major league career.
Well, I remember when I first saw him in spring camp this year, he had added a lot of weight, and it looked like he was primed based on the spring he had to have a really good season, but hopefully sooner or later he will bust out of it. He's shown flashes this year. He's knocked in 26. He's hit 4 homers. Iglesias watches that one right into the glove for ball 1. Singled the other way back in the third and then was caught stealing. I don't think Brian Price could have asked for anything more out of Villarreal, what he gave him tonight.
He saved the bullpen, and he really did. I mean, he was closing down in the minor leagues, so you know he wasn't being stretched beyond 1 inning, maybe 2 every now and then, but he gave them some length here tonight.
2-1 on Iglesias. Tigers' only run scoring on a throwing error. They've out-hit the Reds 4-2. Little chopper toward third. Frazier going to have to hurry or let it roll. He chooses to let it roll. Wise choice. Iglesias was smelling infield hit.
He gets a lot of those. Had 35 of those back in 2013.
It took a left turn. Frazier quickly pounced on that ball because if it hits a rock and goes back fair, then it's a fair ball. 2-2 on Jose. We're in the bottom of the 5th. 1-0. Tigers have the lead. Slings one down low, 3-2. Adcock used to pitch in the American League with the Royals and the Rangers each of the last 3 years. 2 seasons in KC. Although not a whole lot of time with the Royals. Last year with the Rangers appeared in just 7 games. They signed him to a minor league deal with the Reds in the offseason. Swing and a miss. He tried to hold up. Iglesias heads back to the bench. 2 gone.
If you just joined us, here's the injury to John Moscott, the starting pitcher. Ghost was on second base, comebacker by Miggy. He tried to make the play by himself instead of giving the ball to the second baseman, Phillips. And he dove, he stretched out, and you can see when he did land, he landed awkwardly on that left arm, and the result was a shoulder separation.
And a whole bunch of pain to go with it.
I've never separated the shoulder, but obviously that is a tremendous amount of pain. That's the same look that we see on most guys when that injury happens to them.
Rajay Davis, the batter. Here's the 0-1.
Well, the thing about that injury, Ron, is, you know, when you look at that replay, I think he had an opportunity to give up the baseball. He decided to run, goes back, and the injury resulted.
Well, that's what they teach you. They teach you that in those particular situations, get the ball to one of your infielders, guys that do that for a living. Get yourself out of the way.
0-2 on Davis.
Once he did his job at running Ghost back toward second base aggressively, that's when he should have gave it up to Brandon Phillips, the second baseman.
Davis 0 for 1 with a ground out. Adcock stands 6'4", 235. Native of Kentucky. Swing and a miss. Rajay is out of there. Adcock has a 1-2-3 inning. Couple strikeouts in the process on our way to the 6th.
Ago when he pitched an outstanding ball game and got a win in that game. 7 ground ball outs already thrown by Sanchez. Real nice movement with the breaking ball. There's that butterfly changeup with that darting action down and into the right-handers. So far, so good for Anibal.
Here's Bosch to start things off as we go to the 6th. Here are the putouts for Sanchez. The out distribution, 7 of those on the ground. 3 strikeouts. Bosch with a wave and a miss, 1-1.
Great change piece there thrown by Anibal Sanchez with outstanding arm speed. That's what sells the changeup if it looks like a fastball coming out of the pitcher's hand to the hitter.
With as good as Sanchez has been tonight, the Tigers have been only able to support him with 1 run in a game in which the Reds had to go to the bullpen in the first inning because of an injury. So it remains a tight one here.
Now, they could not figure Villarreal out, and they had a difficult time of picking up Adcock, who relieved Villarreal. He punched out 2 in the 5th.
Bosch takes high and away, 2-2.
Anibal can go a couple different ways now. He can simply fade another butterfly changeup away from Bosch, or he can spot that four-seam fastball in one of the four quadrants of the strike zone, possibly get a swing and miss.
Bosch last year won the PCL batting title, hit .332, but beyond that, 25 home runs.
Had a nice year. It's a shame that you put up a year like that where you win a batting title, you hit 25 home runs, and you have to be invited to spring training somewhere. You're not on a roster.
Swing and a foul tip for strike 3. 1 out, game break time. Johnny Kane. All right, Johnny, thanks. A lot has been made about Hosmer leading first baseman. There are quite a few guys. Teixeira's in that mix as well and having a really good year.
Prince Fielder in the conversation. We were talking about it yesterday. Jose Abreu of the Chicago White Sox is probably all-star worthy as well.
Teixeira came in leading the American League in RBIs.
Going to be some quality first basemen left off the all-star team, but it's always that way at that position.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. I mean, there's a lot of talent. Fielder came in leading Cabrera by 2 percentage points in batting average. Swing and a miss. Hamilton down on strikes. They've kept him off the bases twice tonight. 2 gone.
This is the 5th strikeout of the night for Sanchez. His pitch count's in outstanding shape because of that fact. And usually he's racking up 8, 9, 10 strikeouts. And there's a really nice look at the circle changeup that Sanchez throws.
70 now for Sanchez. 5 strikeouts, and here is Brandon Phillips. No balls, 1 strikeout. Phillips. Phillips had that huge year a couple of seasons ago, 2013, when he knocked in over 100 for the first and only time in his career. He knocked in 103 that season. 4 Gold Gloves. Just a really good player. And that's outside, 1-1.
Defensively, he does things at the second base position that you've seen very few do. Very athletic, acrobatic type second baseman. Behind the back, through the legs, you name it, he's done it.
Ground ball to second. And Sanchez continues to just cruise along. Another 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th.
best defensive team because they added Ghost in center field. The Glaze is back at the shortstop position, and boy, have we been right. Ghost made one of the best catches that you'll see this year here at Comerica Park, going into the right center field gap, and when Justin Verlander was on the mound, and that happened in the very first inning.
Well, Ghost will come to the plate now here in the 6th inning. He'll lead things off, followed by Kinsler and Cabrera, 1, 2, and 3 in the Tiger lineup.
Ghost with 1 hit in the ball game tonight. He also stole a base.
Anthony had the single back in the first, stole second, and then was involved in that rundown, which resulted in the injury, I should say, to the Red starter. Adcock is on for his 2nd inning of work out of their bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Adcock had a really good 5th inning, ground out, couple of punch outs. Just a little bit outside, says Tim Welke. 2-1 on Ghost. 4 hits on the homestand now for Anthony. Two and 2 on Ghost, trying to get something started here in the 6th. Tigers lead by just 1 run. They got that run in the 4th, and it's low. Full count now, 3 and 2. Two ball clubs meet again here tomorrow night, and then they're going to fly after the game to Cincinnati to play on Wednesday and Thursday in Cincy. How about that Wednesday matchup? Price and Cueto.
Ooh, it'll be a good one.
Big time.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
3-2. Way outside. Ball 4. Leadoff man on. Well, the Reds have been dealing with some injuries, to be sure. Homer Bailey out for the season. Zach Cozart out for the season, and so on and so on.
Cozart, their shortstop, was having a very good year, and they miss him desperately. Devin Mesoraco, he's a catcher, but they have him playing in the outfield down in the minor leagues. He's on a rehab assignment, and when they get him back because it's a hip injury, he might have to play in the outfield this year, not catch. Last time I checked, when you have a bad hip, catching not necessarily a fun thing to do.
Probably a little bit lower on the list of things you want to do. Kinsler showing bunt perhaps, and he pulls it back.
Looked like Ghost was on the move there. He had such a great jump. He was shocked that Adcock, the pitcher, delivered the ball home, and he just shut it down.
And a throw back. Little chase goes back in there. Tigers trying to get some insurance runs here as we travel to the later innings of this ball game. Sanchez been able to do what he's done just with a 1-run lead tonight. Very little margin for error. Here's the 1-0, runner goes. Good jump, throw down to second, not in time. Into center field. Ghost is up, he'll go to third, and he's in there, and it's thrown away, but Ghost will stay at third base. Another steal for Anthony.
What you're taught to do after you steal the base, when you slide, you look to your right. If you see the ball in center field, you get up as fast as you can and you advance 94 feet, which is exactly what Ghost was able to do. Boy, there's some really good base stealers in this ball game here tonight. Ghost is one, Rajay Davis the other one, and their center fielder, Billy Hamilton, also steals a lot of bags.
Stolen base, E2, and that is the second error of the ball game for the Reds. Infield coming in now with a 2-0 count on Kinsler. And it's 3-0 on Kinsler.
If you're Ian, you may as well take a swing at this 3-0 fastball if he throws it over the plate. More than likely, they'll walk Miggy if you make an out, and they'll play for 2.
Three and one. Kinsler has struck out twice in this game. There's Cabrera lurking on deck. Tigers a prime opportunity to add to their lead. Way outside, bouncing in for ball 4.
That's a bad walk by Adcock, which makes it now very difficult for Brian Price, the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, to simply walk Miguel.
So Cabrera will stand in with runners at first and third. He is 0 for 2 tonight. Chance to break this one open a little bit. Adcock in some trouble here in the 6th. And Cabrera bends out of the way. 1-0. Miggy's on base percentage this year is .440. Came in second in the American League in batting average. The on base percentage leads the American League. Here's the ratio on Nate Adcock, which has suddenly taken a turn for the worse.
Yeah, he's thrown more balls than strikes.
This was after a 1-2-3-5. Pulled to left field. That's down. A base hit and more. Ghost will score. Kinsler coming to third. Send him home. Here he comes. Ian will score. Double, 2 RBIs for Miguel Cabrera. Nothing Tigers.
Adcock throws from a low 3/4 arm slot, which means it's very difficult to get on top of the breaking ball to get the kind of depth that you really want. And he hangs one to Miguel Cabrera, and Miggy turns on it, hits it down toward the 345 side in left field, and Kinsler, with all his speed, able to come all the way around from first and score without a play.
47 RBIs on the season now for Miguel. 2 big runs for the Tigers. They go up 3-0 now here in the 6th. And here is Yoenis Cespedes, still nobody out. He's taking all the way. It's inside 1-0. There'll be 5 Tigers hits in this game.
It's tough enough to pitch to Miguel Cabrera with nobody on base, but Adcock walked the first 2 batters of the inning, Ghost and Kinsler.
And they both have come around to score. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cespedes. Anthony got it started with a walk and a steal. Cespedes rolls it foul at home plate. 1-2. Yoenis had a double with 2 outs in the 4th. Came around to score the first Tigers run.
That is now 8 hits for Miguel Cabrera in the last 4 games, and he's driven in 8 runs. The Cleveland Indians have to be having nightmares about Miggy.
I think they had nightmares coming into the last 3-game series. And they were renewed. Here's the 1-2. That's in the air toward right center. Hamilton coming over. And the runner will hold, one gone. We'll bring up J.D. Martinez. J.D. got himself an infield hit in his last at bat. That was the 4th inning, extending his hitting streak to 9 straight. Martinez had an 11-gamer in the month of May, so he's gaining on that.
And batting average getting up to close to 270 for J.D.
Adcock slings one low and away, 1-0. High drive into deep right field. That ball is hit well. That ball is way back, and it is gone. J.D. Martinez again the other way with a mammoth home run. Boy, is he strong.
We brought this up earlier. You just don't see right-handed batters going in this direction where J.D. Martinez just went. Over the out-of-town scoreboard, about 400 feet away from home plate. Left-handers have a difficult time of clearing that wall in left center field, but J.D. has done it in the last 2 games.
I swear it makes a different sound off his bat.
I'm right there with you.
It just has so much echo as it just sails back into the seats. 104 the hit speed on that home run. And the Tigers have put up 4 here in the 6th. They lead 5-0. Sanchez saying that's more like it. Honeyball has done the rest. 13th home run of the year for Martinez. That was not a cheapie.
And just about every last one of J.D. Martinez's home runs have gone the opposite way. Not many have gone to left field. But when he retooled his swing before last season, that's exactly what he worked on. Staying inside the baseball, driving the ball to right field because he had tremendous power in that direction.
Hand lines one is short. And Suarez will bring that one in. 2 outs here in the 6th.
3 homers to left for J.D. 3 straightaway center and 7 the opposite way.
Wow. We had 7 the other way.
He's got real power. True power.
Here's Castellanos. Nick is 0 for 2 in the game. Line out, ground out. 4-run 6th, 5-0 Detroit. So a much different 6th inning for Adcock after he got an easy 1-2-3 fifth. And the base on balls did him in. Not to mention the home run by Martinez. 0-2 on Castellanos.
Miggy also shook him up a little bit with that double down in the left field corner.
Yeah, he blasted that thing too. Here's the 0-2. Blowing away. One and 2. Nick Castellanos. J.D. Martinez, Miguel Cabrera, a whole bunch of power there. And he missed low and away.
It was Miguel Cabrera who J.D. Martinez patterned his swing after before last season. Pulling the hands close to the body, watching a lot of video on Miguel.
That's a pretty good template.
No question. Went to Puerto Rico a couple of off seasons ago. Played very well.
Driven right center field. Hamilton on the run, and that's going to drop. Hamilton falls down. Castellanos goes to second and has a double. Two out, two base hit for Nick. Tigers starting to pile up the hits now. 3 doubles, a homer, 3 singles.
It's when Castellanos is at his best. Letting the ball travel, driving the ball the opposite way. Bruce Hamilton couldn't get there, and when Hamilton picked it up, he slipped. And that allowed Castellanos to scoot into second with a double.
So Jeff Pico comes out to have a chat with Adcock, who has been roughed up here in the 6th. Again, if you tuned in late, their starter, John Moscott, left in the 1st inning, so this has been a bullpen game for them. Hey, by the way, Thursday, June 25th, the Tigers host the White Sox at 108. First 10,000 fans receive a free Victor Martinez bobblehead. For tickets, go to Tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER.
Did you hear that same rumor that I heard on Victor Martinez, that if all goes well the next few days, the Tigers might see him in New York?
I did, and wouldn't that be a nice little addition? That was the 28th pitch in this inning for Adcock, and he misses 1-0. Well, he was 1 for 4 yesterday.
Yep.
In his first game, and reported feeling really good today, which obviously is tremendous news.
It'll be interesting to see how that knee feels after a long bus ride, which he elected to take with the rest of the teammates down in AAA.
Brad said he called him yesterday while he was on the bus, and it sounded like they were having a pretty good time. So apparently it wasn't bothering him too much. (2-0) on Jose Iglesias. 5-0 Detroit. And now the count goes 3-0. Iglesias this year has not been below 320 at any point. There's a former Tiger farmhand, Bert Badenhop. He was involved in that Miguel Cabrera deal. Brought him over from the Marlins.
Still a few of those guys kicking around.
Yeah. Cameron Maben, Andrew Miller.
Maben has finally started to perform the way that many thought that he would perform when he was a #1 draft choice way back when of the Tigers.
There's a 4-pitch walk for Iglesias. The struggles continue for Adcock. That's his 3rd walk in the inning. Put 2 men on now for Rajay.
Adcock having to take one for the team today.
0 for 2 for Rajay.
44 pitches thrown total for Adcock. 22 strikes and 22 balls.
Two on, 2 out. Fly ball. Center field. Hamilton calling. That'll end the inning, but it is a big inning for the Tigers. They send 9 men to the plate. They flex their muscles. Miguel Cabrera doubles to left, driving in 2. And then how about J.D. Martinez? Opposite field, 2-run shot. A couple of hits and 5 strikeouts. And let's see. JD 2 out of 3 tonight. 2-run homer. Miggy, couple of RBIs. Good night at the ballpark so far. Annabelle goes back to work. Skip Schumacher leads it off. Schumacher is 0 for 2. Votto and then Frazier to follow. Tigers 5 runs, 7 hits. Reds no runs, 2 hits. Sanchez allowed a single to Frazier in the 2nd, and then a bunt hit to Joey Votto in the 4th. That is all. Now the 1-1. Well, the Reds at this point got to be hating interleague play, because since the start of last year they are 7-21 against the American League, worst in Major League Baseball in interleague play. And they're trailing here tonight 5-0. In fact, they are 1-7 against the AL this year.
Brian Price with his arms on the railing down in the Cincinnati Reds dugout. To his right is Jay Bell. Jay Bell is his bench coach. Jay spent 18 years in the big leagues, mostly as a shortstop. He was managed by Jim Leland back in the day. And when he was signed by the Arizona Diamondbacks, he switched positions to second base. Jay just had his son drafted as well in the 4th round by the Cincinnati Reds.
Is that right?
Yeah.
A lot of former big leaguers that had their sons drafted this year. Terry Shumpert, the Tigers drafted his son.
There was a time when Jay Bell and I and Dave Clark, we were all on the same AAA team in Buffalo, New York.
Down on goes Schumacher.
So I know him very, very well.
You guys must have drove in a ton of runs.
We had a lot of fun that year playing in the rock pile in Buffalo. I told you that Steve Swisher was our manager back in the day.
Well, Sanchez really has been kind of feast or famine this year.
Well, it's like when he keeps the ball in the ballpark, he has a much better day. He has not given up a homer in his wins this year, and of course 13 in his losses.
Joey Votto looks at a strike. Interesting numbers. Votto bunted for a base hit against the Shift last time. There have been nearly 7,500 shifts this year in baseball, and there's only been 26 bunt hits against those shifts.
Well, I think most of the left-handers, most of them, because they get paid to drive the ball out of the ballpark, if it's a unique situation where their run really means something, as Votto's did when he did it back in his last time up. It was a 1-run game at that time. I think you'll see more guys do it versus guys doing it just to take a base hit when they have the ability to hit the ball in the gaps.
Here's the 1-1. Get back out of play, 1-2.
But the shift is definitely working for a lot of teams that like to employ it.
And I guess really the only way a batter can combat this shift is to just learn to hit the ball in the opposite gap. As you say, for the power hitters at least. Little guys very rarely get shifted anyway. Here's the 1-2. 2-2 on Votto. Votto last year missed 99 games with a knee problem. His career on base percentage is .416. And Sanchez busted him inside but missed 3-2.
If you look at Votto's hits by direction, he has 17 hits the opposite way, so he's not a dead pull hitter. But Brad's still electing to play him to the pull field. Maybe trying to get into the head of Votto to try to hit something in that direction.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Could be it. Three-two on Votto.
One of the best players to come out of Canada, Joey Votto. Well, you know they don't play a lot of baseball.
Born in Toronto.
Oh, I like Toronto.
Beautiful place.
Love Toronto.
What is it, like or love? Love?
Love Toronto.
Here's the 3-2. Pulled on the ground right into the shift. Castellanos will make that a 5-3 ground out. 2 outs. Hey, by the way, tomorrow Alex Morgan and Abby Wambach and the U.S. women's national team continue their quest for a 3rd World Cup title. They finish group stage play against Nigeria. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on your local Fox station. And catch the whole tournament streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Two gone now for Todd Frazier. Well, the Reds may be struggling this year, but they still have guys like Votto, Frazier, and Bruce in the middle of their lineup. They can hit the ball a long, long way, but Sanchez done a good job tonight of keeping the ball in the park. Only 2 hits for the Reds. Swing and a miss.
Well, Jocketty, their general manager, is going to get a lot of phone calls toward the trade deadline. Votto would be awfully hard to move because of the size of his contract and the length that he has on his contract. But there's Cueto. He's a starting pitcher, and they're going to have a tough time signing him long term. And he might be the one pitcher that most teams are looking at. Johnny Cueto.
He's one of the best in the National League at 2.85 ERA this year.
82 strikeouts, and he's only walked 14. And he had a great year last year, too.
You brought this up before the game when we were chatting. What about the name Aroldis Chapman?
I take him.
I think a lot of teams would take him.
Is that tampering?
No, because we're not employees of the club.
I'll take him all day, every day.
Now, if Dave came on the air and talked about it, that would be different. Here's a 2-2. Little chopper over the glove of Sanchez. Kinsler, nice play. Anibal cruising tonight. 1-2-3, 7th inning. Coming up, the McLaren Health Plan 7th inning stretch.
Against Nate Adcock, who walked goals. He also walked Kinsler, and that's where his trouble started. Miggy, he doubled down in the left field corner. It was his 13th double of the year. And J.D. Martinez played long ball again, his 3rd homer in the last 3 days.
Here is the new pitcher for Cincinnati. Burke Batenhop will come on.
He checks in with an earned run average that's over 6.5. He's been in 21 games prior to tonight. Not a strikeout artist, only 12 punch-outs against 8 walks for Burke Batenhop.
So Batenhop, not the only change. Ivan De Jesus Jr. is at 3rd. He will take over for Todd Frazier. Tigers have Anthony Ghost to start things off here in the 7th. He led off the 6th with a walk, a steal, and then scored a run. First one is low, 1 ball, no strikes. Two-0 the count on Ghost.
Batenhop is from Perrysburg High School in northern Ohio. Isn't that the same school Jim Leland went to?
Hometown of Jim Leland, yeah. I think it's his hometown. I know that he has ties there. That's drilled to right field and caught. 1 out. Brian Britt, director of team trap.
He from there too?
Perrysburg, Ohio.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get a better room on the road now for mentioning that.
Your room's not been that good lately, I take it.
No. And I was just thinking a suite with a view.
That would be awfully nice.
Yeah, he's sitting down there right now going, yeah, whatever.
We'll get that in the next contract.
All right. Here's Kinsler with 1 out.
Batenhop throws a lot of ground balls. Ground ball artist. And to be honest with you, he's not going to strike you out. He's at his best when there's runners on base. He gets a lot of double play balls. You can see the natural sink on the 2-seam fastball at 89 miles an hour.
That's way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kinsler. Ian in the ballgame had a walk and a run scored his last at bat. He loops one to left, base hit. His first hit of the night. 1 on, 1 out. Fans follow the Tigers all season long in 2015 with MLB.com at bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment at any moment. With in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, statcast, and more. MLB.com at bat. Get it for your smartphone or your tablet. Chris Dominguez has also taken over at first as well. Drilled to right field, slicing foul.
The game really doesn't appear to me to be that lopsided to where you take your best 2 hitters out of the game. I mean, 5 runs is, not insurmountable.
Agreed. And I was wondering, and when I saw Votto came out of the game, I thought, well, maybe possible injury, but then Frazier came out as well. So.
But obviously we don't know Brian Price's team as well as a lot of the American League teams that we go up against. I'm sure that Frazier and Votto have played just about every inning this year. But 5 runs is one that you don't see opposing managers usually taking out their best players.
0-2 on Cabrera. 2-run double back in the 6th for Miggy. Right back up the middle. That's into center field, a base hit. Kinsler stops at second. A 2-hit game for Miguel.
He's just scary, and he's starting to heat up. Well, there's that ground ball that Batenhop throws a lot of, but it's hit like a bullet right back up the middle. Perfect swing every time. Same swing, whether he's hitting a lousy single or he's hitting a ball 452 feet away from home plate. And you can't say that about all big league hitters.
Cabrera's 12 for 19 on the homestand. That's good. Here's Cespedes. So Yoenis is up there with a couple of guys on and only 1 out. Tigers trying to add to their 5-0 lead. Batenhop missing way outside. After the Tigers traded Batenhop to Florida, he appeared with Tampa and Milwaukee and Boston and now Cincinnati. his college ball at Bowling Green. One ball, one strike. Yoenis Cespedes. Double and 3 at bats for Yoenis. Bouncer back up the middle, going to find a hole, base hit. Kinsler around third, coming home. He will score. It's an RBI for Cespedes.
So Baycop is getting the ground balls that he always gets when he comes into games, but the ground balls that Miguel and Cespedes have hit have found holes right back up the middle. Ian Kinsler with a great break off of second base, able to score rather easily. Second time Ian has scored in the contest.
Now J.D. Martinez, already 2 hits tonight for J.D. High fly ball. Medium depth center field. Playable for Hamilton. 2 gone.
We were talking about the National League starters a little earlier, and the St. Louis Cardinals are starting at about every single position, but I think the Kansas City Royals have them beat. Only Mike Trout is the lone member of the starting 9 that is not a Kansas City Royal. Miguel is closing in on Eric Hosmer, however. I've never seen anything like this before, Mario.
Nor have I. Omar, by the way, 204 batting average. We know Omar. We love Omar. He was a former Tiger. But I tell you what, 204. I don't know. It's the way it's going this year. We'll see how it ends up. I mean, voting is still ongoing through July the 2nd.
But everybody can vote, just like the Kansas City Royals fans have, correct?
Correct.
Everybody gets 35, right?
Yep. Nobody gets any more than anybody else. There's the comparison between Hosmer and Cabrera.
If it's the last thing we do, and Miguel, we got to get him to start the All-Star game.
Mickey tried to downplay it the other day, saying, you know what, it is what it is, and you know, if I get voted in, great. If I don't,
right?
He knows he's going.
Yep.
One way or another. The 0-2 is a ground ball to second. Phillips fouls, has time, and he throws him out. So the Tigers settle for 1 run. They've extended the lead, though, as we go to the 8th. Up just 2 hits. That's it. High fly ball to left. Here comes Cespedes under it. And Jay Bruce is out, 1 gone. Sanchez on a roll. 11 straight retired by Anibal. Eugenio Suarez. Strike 1. How about Suarez this year becoming the 27th different shortstop to play with Brandon Phillips up the middle in their infield. Suarez, the former Tiger, recently called up, and he looks at a ball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That sounds like all the second basemen that Derek Jeter had to play with before Robinson Cano came on the scene.
Yeah, there were a lot of them, weren't there?
Yeah.
1-1 is outside. 2-1.
There's Brandon. He might get moved at the trade deadline as well.
They've got all their players going places.
Well, at some point in time, if you're in that particular division, you're going to have to start looking toward next year.
Barnhart waiting on deck. Fouled off. Really is one of the most exciting times of the year when you lead up that last week and a half to July 31st. Trading deadline approaches. Teams start to wheel and deal.
Yeah, last year was very exciting for the Tigers. And that's when they were able to acquire David Price on July 31st.
Ground ball to short. Iglesias has it there. 2 gone.
Here is the 1-800 Call Sam call of the game. Not only has James McCann handled Anibal Sanchez beautifully here tonight, he also threw out Votto, trying to steal a base earlier in the game. Outstanding exchange. Really nice throw. And let's get to the point where when there's a runner on first base and McCann is behind the plate, it's not the smartest thing to run.
Not at all. 45% for McCannon, who has that cannon behind the dish.
Oh, you like that?
That's what they've nicknamed the throwing arm now for McCann.
Is that what they gave him?
Well, we're going to do it, whether he likes it or not. I'm sure he'll like it. There's a strike call. He really has no choice. Tucker Barnhart, the batter. 12 in a row, retired by Sanchez. Here's the 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 0 for 2 for Barnhart. Reds just really haven't threatened all night long. We mentioned the 2 hits they've had. They had a single by Frazier and a steal in the second, but really not much after that.
Yeah, they lost to the Chicago Cubs last night to 2-1 in extra innings. They played 11 innings. They had 12 runners in scoring position during the course of the game, and they were only able to squeak out 1 run. As a matter of fact, in the 10th and 11th inning, they stranded 5 runners. Ooh, didn't score.
There's a wave and a miss. Barnhart strikes out. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. 13 straight retired by Anibal Sanchez. We go to the bottom of the 8th. He's cruising tonight.
The Reds tonight 6-0 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning here at the ballpark. They've out-hit them 10-2 as well. A good start to this, I guess you can call it a 4-game series. 2 here in Detroit and then immediately 2 in Cincinnati once we're done here.
Did you know that since the implementation of interleague baseball, this is the first night that every single team is playing against the other division?
No.
Yep. First night in history.
Really?
Every single National League team is playing against an American League team. It's the first time it's ever been done.
Yeah, because it even when it started it was staggered.
Right.
And not every National League team always played an American League team. That's interesting. It's in the air to center field. Hamilton cruising over. Castellanos is out. One away in the 8th. Well, if the Reds are unable to come back, they are going to drop to 1-8 against the American League this year. And tonight they really didn't put up much of a fight against Anibal Sanchez. Here's Iglesias. In there for a strike on Jose. Action in the Detroit bullpen. There is Jabba Chamberlain starting to warm up. He'll shoot that one to right center.
Do it, Iggy.
He's going to take a turn and hold up.
Do it, Iggy.
Another single the other way for Iglesias. His second hit of the night.
Nice little short, compact swing, small stride, body in a real good position. Outstanding hand-eye coordination displayed by Jose. Red Sox had to be awfully high on Xander Bogaerts to give up Iglesias.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they got Peavy in that deal.
Yeah, Bogaerts is very highly thought of when he was coming up. But Iglesias, and it was what, Garcia to Chicago.
Right.
Peavy to the Red Sox. That's popped up. It'll be a tough night for Rajay. A rare tough night. He's 0 for 4. 2 outs.
Boston is not having a good year. They're 10 games under 500. Their starting pitching hasn't been very good, and their offense has struggled too. I mean, they just have not performed very well.
Can Tampa score enough runs to stay in that race?
They can stay in that race because they have great pitching and they play well in their ballpark. I think they can stay in it. They surprise a lot of people all the time, but they got good pitching.
Here's Anthony Gose. Anthony's been able to stir it up a couple times tonight. Singled and stole a base in the first. Walked, stole a base, scored. That was in the 6th inning, which has turned out to be the biggest inning of the game. The 4-run 6th for the Tigers. One ball, one strike. Dart slow and away. Rays are getting ready to get Matt Moore back as well to add to their rotation. A little bit outside, and the count now 3-1 on Gose. I don't know how the Rays do it, but they just turn out pitching year after year.
Jim Hickey, their pitching coach, does marvelous work. Doesn't get near the credit that he deserves.
Phillips will flip to second for the force. And that'll end the inning. So, as we go to the 9th, it appears that Sanchez is going to try and finish this one off himself.
there. The Tigers lead at 6-0 here. Anibal Sanchez goes back to work, and the 9th inning is underway. A strike called on Brennan Bosch. Bosch, Hamilton, Phillips, 8, 9, and 1 in the lineup for Brian Price. And is lifted back out of play. Sanchez came into this inning with 104 pitches. Tonight, compared to the start Tuesday, that was against Chicago, went 7 2/3, 6 hits, no runs. So Sanchez appears to be getting back on track. Here's the 0-2. It's in the air down the third base line, foul ground. Castellanos, long run, nice play. One gone.
Tough play for most third basemen, and Castellanos able to run it down. Great concentration. Been nearly a couple of years since Anibal Sanchez pitched a complete game shutout.
Big swing there by Hamilton.
You got to go all the way back to May of 2013, where he nearly pitched a no-hitter against the Minnesota Twins.
Hamilton stole 5 bases last night, but he hadn't been on here tonight, so that has not made a difference.
Yeah, 3 of those came when John Lester was on the mound. We talked about Lester when he pitched here a week ago.
That's a bad matchup right there.
Yeah, how he does not hold home runners very well.
That is in the shallow left for an out. 2 gone. So 15 straight retired by Sanchez. Got 1 more to get for a complete game shutout. Here comes a crowd of 29,884 tonight. Only 2 hits allowed by Sanchez. He has twirled a gem. Ball 1 high.
We brought this up at 7 o'clock when we were talking about Anibal Sanchez and the fact that in that last start against Chicago and then here tonight against the Redlegs, throwing straight downhill with the 4-seam fastball, the changeup, the breaking ball, has not made many strikeouts in.
And Castellanos ends it with a ground ball to third. His throw is in time. How about Sanchez tonight?
Getting ready to say hadn't made many mistakes in the strike zone at all.
He retires the final 16 Reds in a row. He made it look easy tonight. His 7th career complete game shutout. And the Tigers gave him enough offense tonight. Sanchez twirls a gem.